Welcome to Restaurant Influencers presented by Entrepreneur. My name is Sean Walchef, founder of Cali BBQ and Cali BBQ Media. In life, in the restaurant business, and in the new creator economy, we learn through lessons and stories. We're so grateful to Toast, our primary technology partner at our barbecue restaurants, and for believing in storytelling, for believing in technology, and for giving us this stage to bring on guests like today. Today we have Chef Isabel Coss. She has just been named one of 11 of Food and Wine's best chefs in America. She is a Postres chef at Lutèce in Washington, D.C. Isabella, welcome to the show.
Hello, Sean. It's so good to be here.
It's so good to have you. Thank you for being here.
No, it's a pleasure. My pleasure.
So we're going to start with our favorite random question, which is where in the world is your favorite stadium, stage, or venue?
Stadium, stage, or vendor?
Venue.
I think, what could it be? I really like, in Mexico, there's a big stadium called Estadio Azteca. It's giant. It's giant. It's where we have it's our only big stadium in Mexico City. I've only got the pleasure to be there for like soccer matches, and the energy that you can feel at a soccer match, it's, I think, uncomparable to anything. Like you can feel the benches jumping while everybody jumps. So it's those type of like cathartic places where like the energy just is so contagious that you can do nothing but like have fun. So Estadio Azteca. Estadio Azteca is going to be for me.
All right, Estadio Azteca. We're going to go there. We're going to talk to Entrepreneur. We're going to talk to Toast, and we're going to fill it with hospitality people that love food, that love restaurant business, that love storytelling, and we're going to bring that energy. But we're going to put you in the middle of the soccer field, in the middle of the pitch.
If we could fill Estadio Azteca with a chef, that would be like a never ever seen before thing.
Seen before.
It's a dream. Now it's a mutual dream.
Now it's a mutual dream. We're going to make it happen, but I'm going to give you the mic, and you need to welcome everybody and tell the stadium who are you? What's your story?
Okay, if I was in the Estadio Azteca, I would tell everybody that I'm in Mexico, so it would connect, I think, with people from all America and especially Mexicans. So I could first say that I'm from Mexico. I'm originally from Mexico, born and raised. I moved to the States to cook at the best restaurants. And I've been lucky and fortunate to find incredible mentors and teams here. And now I'm in Washington, D.C., and I run a pastry program at a small, tiny neo bistro called Lutèce in Washington, D.C. And from going to one capital of a country to another capital just feels right.
Tell us about the journey. When did you make the decision to come to America?
I made the decision. So I started working in Mexico professionally. Very young. I knew I wanted to cook from a very young age. My parents didn't. They were hoping I would change careers. But I think chefs and probably people that work in careers that are high demanding, artists, I think creative people, when you know you have to create, you're just gonna keep doing it, either whatever type of work field you end up in. And even if it's compensated or not, you're just happy to do it and express yourself. So from an early age, I knew I wanted to cook. It was just a matter of where. And I got myself my first job at a restaurant called Pujol in Mexico City. It's one of the most awarded restaurants over there. I knew it was a good restaurant. I didn't know how big of a restaurant it was back then. I was 17 years old. I showed up one day. I saw the chef outside, and I just started like, hey, can you let me come in? I don't know, it'd be fun. I want to learn. And he was very kind. He's like, yeah, sure, come. I don't know if he was kind or he just didn't care that much, or he was just like, sure, yeah, come tomorrow, or sometimes it's luck. Sometimes it's a bunch of little things, and he was just like, yeah, sure, come tomorrow. So I showed up next day with my knives and ready to work, and nobody knew I was coming because the chef wasn't there. So I was like,
he probably didn't expect you to come.
In a kitchen, if you said the chef told me, you can get away with so much stuff. No, the chef told me I should be here.
That's the secret. There you go.
So I started cooking. I was 17 years old. They hired me when I was 18, and I became the bread baker there. And I was always there. I knew right away I wanted to be in kitchens. Like I was fascinated by the movement, by the pressure. I really like the pressure. And I like the constant creative solutions to try to solve any type of problems. I was so proud of how good I was sweeping. I was so proud of how good I could wash a pot now. I was so proud of how good I could do brown butter. Like every new task became, and I was very young, so it was very formative years. So I was like obsessed with the environment. I couldn't leave. I think that's why they hired me, because I would just not leave the building. So when they're like, please start paying this lady,
Yes.
And right away in Mexico City kitchens, it's rough environments. It's really you have some issues, plus you have a pay gap, plus you have many little things that add to where environments can be very, very rough. And I decided that if I was going to be cooking, I needed to find myself a good environment and what that would look like. So there was a pastry chef called Alex Stupak in New York City. And I moved to New York and I showed up in his place. I saw he was opening a Mexican restaurant. And I was like,
how did you see that? Was that online? You followed him?
His wife, Lauren, she was a pastry chef. They're both pastry chefs, right? I think it's a great combination.
Yeah.
And I saw they posted something on Facebook, like they were opening Empellón. And I applied. They let me trail and they hired me right away. And it was my first job.
What did you tell your family?
I just told them like, hey, I want to be in New York. I wanted to be in New York. I realized there was something happening in the industry in New York City back then. I feel now I realize of how much the industry of like America, that was like 2011 when I moved.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a time where pastry chefs were superstars. We had Michael Lascones, we had Johnny Lucini, we had Alex Stupak. Like restaurants had superstars pastry chefs, and I wanted to learn from them. And it was happening in New York City. It was happening in like Albert Adria it was this moment. So I thought pastry chefs were actually the ones that were able to be the most creative. So I knew, I was like, this is the way I need to go.
Why did you feel that pastry allowed you to have more creativity than any other part of the kitchen?
First, I think is in pastry you find independence. In pastry, like in a regular kitchen, I mean, in a setup of a kitchen, you start as a prep cook, you have to go as a line cook, you have to go chef de partie, sous chef, like to get into a moment where you can have control around it. I like to make my own thing. So I really was looking into, as maybe in an immature way or a premature way, I was always looking to like, how could I be the best person in this kitchen? So I think it was like a different path to be in pastry. Pastry allows you to like be the best at something faster than I had to be like dealing with all these boys in the line. And also I didn't want to be there. Pastry, I really believe everybody likes pastry and everybody in the kitchen comes to pastry for like a safe space. They always come for like, hey, do you have a snack? Do you have ice cream? What are you doing? Everybody treats the pastry chef right, Does
the pastry chef typically work mornings? Is that how it works? Or does it matter?
Yes. Yeah, the difference between like a savory line and a pastry line, savory you can do so much to prep for savory, but a lot of it has to happen during service. You cook a meat during service. You can roast your onions, you can have your potatoes cooked, but your proteins always have to be done. You can cut everything for a ceviche, have a beautiful aguachile, but to mix it and season it all happens during service, where in pastry, majority of your prep is going to happen pre-service.
Yep.
So service for pastry is more plating beautiful stuff, making the perfect quenelle, making the perfect waves in a plate, plating, saucing, in a beautiful way, stacking a twill on top of a twill, or how many canals can you do. So pastry usually comes a little earlier for those reasons. And if a restaurant has a bread program, as a traditional bread program, definitely you're always going to have someone that opens from pastry.
When did you get the opportunity to leave New York, or why were you compelled to leave New York?
I was working in New York during pandemic. It was pandemic. It was New York and pandemic. It was something else.
Yeah.
It was not the dream of the city that I moved to was not there anymore. And I could never imagine myself living somewhere else but in New York or Mexico City. I was very defensive of New York. And I think I was very defensive of it. As any New Yorker gets after 3 years, you live a rough life and then you suddenly you think it's the best place in the world and you pay the high taxes. So you kind of defend it even more, and you live in a shitty apartment. So you even defend your choices even more, because how are you going to say they're bad? How can you admit it? No, but I think pandemic opened the eyes to be like, hey, there's other places, you work so hard to make a living in that city that suddenly you realize I can try to do it somewhere else. My husband and I, he's the chef of Lutèce. We work together, and he had already found an opportunity in Washington, D.C. So he moved before me, and he was like, Isabel, I think he was already looking into how we could he was thinking Boston or Washington, D.C. And I said, I'm not going to nothing colder than New York. I'm like, start hitting south, Austin, California, let's go down, Arizona. So Washington, D.C. was kind of that middle place. We visit our partners now at the restaurant. It's called the Popal family. It's an Afghan family of immigrants that have worked here for 20 years and have worked so hard in DC to build a couple of restaurants, and they were ready to grow into something new. They had Lutèce for 20 years. They had it called Café Bonaparte, and they had the space for 20 years, and they were looking for new chefs that would take it to something further. And we were also looking to see how much we could grow. So it was a perfect tandem of a family that care a lot about their space, but they knew they wanted more. They always tried to grow, and us always trying to grow. So my husband first connected with them really good, and I was holding on to New York during pandemic. I worked throughout pandemic. I was working at a restaurant called Cosme as a pastry chef there. Incredible. I worked with my friend Daniela Soto. She was an amazing. She taught me how to be a chef. I love her. But during pandemic, we realized it was a hard environment. New York. I could be in the subway. It was just me by myself, and first responders. And after a year of New York, I was like, you know what? What am I doing? Let's give it a chance to somewhere else. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. And we moved to DC. I finally, we still had 2 apartments, and I was like, let's dive in, I immigrated to the States with no papers. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah. So I moved to DC. I started working at Lutèce right away, and I realized how beautiful and supportive the community of restaurants was here.
Yeah.
Chefs were reaching out just to be like, hey, welcome, chef. I'm so happy you guys are here. Hey, my friend Paola Vélez, she's an amazing pastry chef and advocate. Chef Rob Rubra, Chef Johnny Sparrow from Bar Sparrow. They were just genuinely reaching out just to are you guys doing good? Check on you. It was also a time pandemic, so I think everybody knew that we all needed something. Even we didn't know what it was, we all needed help. So right away I was like, oh, this is a different type of environment than the New York City restaurant. So I felt very welcome. So I was like, I'm going to try my best.
We have a brand new show called Toast Family Style. It is on YouTube. It is a travel show where we go and find the best operators on the Toast platform and share the secrets to their success on location. Check it out. Our first episode was with Novo Brazil out of Chula Vista, California. They have a brewery location there and consumer packaged goods. They've added additional revenue streams, but we also feature Toast's new app. Go to the App Store right now and download the app. It is the Toast Now app. It will give you the power of your restaurant's sales, your forecasts, your labor costs, allow you to turn on and off third-party delivery. It is mind-blowing how cool this app is. It has been the most requested thing of Toast. Leadership built it with so many of you that listen to this show, so many of the Toast customer advisory boards. I was there in lots of those meetings. It is one of the coolest things that I have seen rolled out. I can't wait for you, the listener, to download the app, give us your feedback, make your Toast app unboxing video. But check out Toast Family Style and also check out the Toast Now app today. Can you share, you said Chef Daniela, she taught you how to be a chef.
She taught me how to be a chef. I think Alex Tupac taught me how to be a pastry chef. Daniela taught me how to be a chef, you know?
Give us a story that Daniela taught you or a lesson that you learned.
I think, it's multiple stories with her. You know, it's a whole motto of life that she has in kitchens. She cares so much about making environments in kitchens. Like, she cares about people having a life and having a restaurant life. She cares a lot about people's health, but not just like, hey, you need to be healthy, more into like, hey, move your body. She had this phrase that I really love. And when she told, I was a ballerina in Mexico City for many years. So she said it and I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, she was a basketball player. So I think that's why we were more competitive and we just get along so well. She told us, like, she grabbed all the cooks and she's like, hey guys, just remember you are like athletes. Cooks are like athletes and you need to move like an athlete. Think of it like a basketball player. You have a square in your line and you pound, you know? You're not gonna like go over here, go over there. Yeah. Stay in your zone. Draw your square underneath you and move around it. If you're gonna go down, stretch your arms. And I was like a ballerina.
Yes.
So, you know, move your whole body with intention, taking care of your body while you're cooking. You know, there's no point in like, no, cook with grace because you're taking care of your body too. And food's gonna taste better. So I think that's one example of many, many stories, you know, of guidance that she taught me.
So we have amazing people that tune in from all over the world that listen to this show, restaurant owners, chefs, hospitality professionals, storytellers, content creators. We believe that every business is a family business, but very infrequently do husbands and wives both share the same kitchen at work and at home. Can you bring us into the workspace and home space, and how do you
of a relationship at work? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Matt and I met while cooking together. I was working at Empejon. I was the pastry sous chef, and I want to believe I was the kitchen. I think I want to believe I was one of like the best team players in that kitchen. I really try in every space I'm at to try to be the best in the person that can help out, not in the best of an egocentric way of like, I want to be better than you, more like, how can I make this team better while I'm here? Or how can I do something significant for myself and for the people around me? So I want to believe that I was like the team's captain and cheered, you know, and he suddenly arrived. They hired him as a sous chef and he was very talented. So he became everybody's favorite right away. And I was like, what's happening with this boy? So I think I was a little jealous.
And
I started like bugging him, you know, I started like, I don't know, like I could hide his apron, I could do little things. And I think while that was happening, I realized like, oh no, I don't hate this guy. I actually like him a lot. And I think I'm in love with him. So I should try to see if this works out. So we started dating while working, and all our relationships. We are about to be married for 8 years.
Amazing.
No, 9 years. Yeah, we just did 8 years. We just did 8 years. Restaurant years are different.
Yeah, they're all, you don't need it. We know. I've been in it for 15 years. I know. Yes.
So, we got married very young. Our relationship just really worked. We had the same hours. We knew the same we had the same goals, but throughout, like we worked together beyond, and then each one started working in different restaurants. We follow our own paths, and we didn't spend that much time together just because the restaurant industry were around us. We would always try to make time for us and have dinners, and on our days off, try to always have like a day together. But it was sometimes it was possible, sometimes it wasn't hard. We both were in management positions that require many hours, but we kind of knew we were always gonna get to cook together again. We knew it. We just knew it. Like our dream was to have a restaurant, open a restaurant. Like it was part of the plan, and I think we both were working to be the best versions of ourselves. To when we work together, we could execute like that. And Lutèce happened to put us together, and pandemic happened to accelerate the process, or I don't know. I really think when you work with someone that you admire a lot, it's very easy to work around. And when you put yourself in service of the other person, it's very easy to communicate. We definitely have like different styles, but we both care so much about our team, about the food we're putting out, and about the restaurant growing, that we know our end goals are always the same. So we always meet in the middle. It wasn't, honestly, I think at the beginning it was a communication, and because you have two different type of kitchen schools, you work a little different, but we kind of create our own together now, that it's a little fine dining, a little casual, trying to deliver the best quality of ingredients, and teach cooks the way we wanted to learn. We've been in places that we get yelled at. We've been in places that is too soft. We've been in places, so we try to create a method that we always said, I treat people like I wish I had been treated, when I was cooking. So we just try to lead by example, and by treating people, by being honest with the cooks of what, and our team of what our goals are. So I really like working with my husband. I can't complain. I think we both care about the same things, and the qualities that I have, he makes sure they shine, and the qualities that he has, I make sure they're being seen. So I think just respect.
Can you tell us about specialization? When you look at, having to do every job when you guys took over and started working at Lutèce, and having to be the host and the manager and the cook and doing the social media and doing everything.
You mean my specialization in becoming a graphic designer?
Yes, a graphic designer specialization. Yes.
You know what happened when we opened Lutèce, and I feel that happened with everybody in the restaurants. The work had changed. Pandemic made everybody look at if they wanted to be in this industry, if they wanted something else, if this industry was right. Like we all took a hard look at ourselves and the jobs we were doing. And in that part, some people wanted to pursue other careers or take a break or explore other things. I did the same thing. It's still in my field, but I started doing some videos for Food 52. I started doing new things because we had time. Yeah. And when we came back to the restaurant to try to operate it fully, we were having a lot of trouble hiring staff. Any positions. Any position was really hard, from dishwasher to general manager. And both are just as important, and both we couldn't find. So we run with a very small team. And in that little team, we had the chance to see what was wrong within ourselves and what was wrong with everything in the restaurant and how we could make it better. So I knew the restaurant needed to communicate better. So I jumped into social media, and how could we put into social media and put what we needed. I just bought a nice camera and started playing with it. I didn't know how to take photos, but I just started shooting, and it become better. Like I downloaded Illustrator, and my brother, he's a designer, so he helped me. He was always calling me and are you good? And I would call him hey, I think I messed it up. No, just put Control F. You're back at it, So he helped me a lot. So definitely reaching out to friends for guidance into all these new jobs that we had to take over was a way to do all the things that a restaurant required. But it was really fun. Yeah. I really enjoyed doing many things. And I feel you know what attitude I always try to have? If anything I try to do, I'm going to try. Like if I'm going to be a graphic designer, let me be a really good graphic designer. If I'm going to be the hostess, even if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to try to be the best hostess in communication or stuff. And that's also the people that I admire the most. When I meet someone on the team that I'm like, anything you do, you just try to do it good, and with care. So I think the team that started coming after that started to taking those jobs from me, but they were approaching the same type of mentality of like, oh, I'm gonna try to do it the best I can. Because Isabel can do that in pastry and run a pass, and. So you'd always feel everybody that was coming. I was always like, "Thank you so much for joining the team. Like, you're just helping us so much." But it made me realize how much we can grow when more good team join the team. The recent award I got, I don't think would have been possible without when Savannah, my cook, she joined a year ago. That's when we're like, let's go on pastry. Now we can do it. Now we can do it. So I think it's a team effort.
Tell me about when you found out. Tell me about what the day when you found out that you got the award.
I was sitting right here too. So they call me. They emailed me about an interview about gelatin. They wanted to ask me something about gelatin, so I studied the night before everything about gelatin. Setting time, setting temperatures, like coagulation, that just to like refresh it. And I was so ready for the gelatin interview. And they're like, actually, Isabel, we just wanted to tell you that, before we jump into the interview, we just wanted to tell you that you're being chosen Best New Chef Food and Wine 2023. And I was like, what? That's insane. I grabbed a bottle of mezcal. I have my barbecue, and I was like, you're kidding me. I had a shot, and I was like, okay.
So you had a shot on the call?
Yes, I had a shot on the call. That's why today I grabbed coffee, so I wouldn't be drinking. Mezcal is my favorite spirit, so I just felt like celebratory right away. And then I jumped back like, hey, so can we talk about gelatin? And they're like, yeah, another time. I'm like, but gelatin. Yeah. Like, no, that wasn't the reason.
Yeah. Wow.
And it finally hit me. I was like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. And it took me a couple months to believe it, but it's real.
How did your family respond?
I didn't tell my family because my mom really likes her social media, and she would tell it right away to the whole world.
Oh, because it was you weren't supposed to tell anyone.
No, I know you're supposed to. I mean, it's not that long that you have to keep it, but like while they're planning the interview, all that stuff. Yeah, before they announce it. So I kept it from my mom a little bit, but I actually flew my mom in for the day of the event.
No
so
way.
my mom found out.
Did she know why? Did she know why she was coming?
No, she didn't know. She didn't know. My friend was cooking. Actually, my excuse was my friend Danny was cooking was doing this incredible dinner for Salma Hayek Foundation. So I told my mom, hey, can you come to the event and help us out? So she thought she was meeting Salma Hayek.
Did she get to meet Salma Hayek?
No. I had her at the food and wine, but I think she was fine. I think she was fine. She was completely fine. She was so proud. I flew her in from Mexico City to New York. I picked her up and I showed her the magazine, and she was just like in tears and so excited. And she asked, "Is this like big?" I'm like, "Yes, Mom, it's really big."
Yes, it's a really big deal.
No, she was partying. She went to the after party. She danced all night. She was very proud. I think in this industry, especially, family misses a lot of what you do, and they're so understanding with it. I feel first it's hard for them, but then they become accustomed, and then they just become understanding, and they support you from the back, so having her there was important.
If you think about the other little girl that's on a different part of this world or somewhere in the United States that is dreaming about being creative, maybe with food, maybe in the kitchen, what kind of words would you say to them?
I think everybody's creative. Number one, I think we all have to be creative into everyday life. We just sometimes don't acknowledge ourselves as a creative person because we're afraid of the worth. But I think we should all label ourselves as creative, because we all are always looking creative ways, by force or by choice, to solve problems or to create things. So to all those creative people, I would just tell them, like, if something is calling in here, and something is visual here, and something you just need to see it happen, take it on your hands to go and try to do it. Search for the people that will teach you how to do it, and don't stand still. I think creativity happens while you're working. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen sitting. It doesn't happen while you're sitting. Sometimes it comes, but creativity happens when you're already making a cake, or whenever you're drawing, something else will come or something else will happen. So keep at it. There are spaces for you to be at, and especially to immigrants,
Yes.
that don't have a voice, and that change their name to get a job in a kitchen.
Yes.
I think, and are the backbone of this industry. I really think they need to know that there's a space for them, and now we're just opening more doors and more doors, that they don't have to hide their name, and they can put out there, and they're the best.
I love that you talk about that. I love that you're open about it on your social media. We'll put links to your Instagram, Isabell Coss,
Yes.
on Instagram. Can you talk about social media and about why it's important for a chef not just to celebrate the cake and the art of the cake, but also who they are, where they come from? Why is that important to you?
I think, I really like social media. I have fun with it. I've never felt I need to take a break of it.
Yeah.
I never have had to take, maybe in the future I will. I don't know. I'm always open to, I never say never. But up until now, my experience with social media has been it's just a tool to communicate what you're doing. It's so easy to see what someone else, I remember when Instagram started, and people used to put photos of coffees. That's the first thing that became trendy, coffee. And that was the whole thing, a perfect cup. And from coffee, it turned into foodies. I actually remember Instagram became a foodie place at the beginning. And you could see the meals of restaurant. Back then, I didn't have like any paperwork here in the States, so I couldn't travel. So I started to see like, oh, this is what the chef of Mugaritz is doing on their third course. Because people could just post with no filters. No filters. The food, suddenly you could see if actually the food looked pretty or not, because people were posting and posting and posting. So I think social media is a way to communicate with such a big audience, and you don't know who's looking at your work. You don't know who is going to connect with it. But if you put yourself out there in the most genuine way, I think people's gonna connect with you. So I think for me, social media, I don't see it as to make money. I see it as a communicating way, even for the restaurant. We've got some people that try to like help us with the Instagram, and they're always like, no, you're only reaching out to chefs on your Instagram. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? No, you need to make like, profit. No, the restaurant makes profit when we're selling, our food. Social media is to for communication. So I think social media is very important. I think social media right now is very important these days. And just see what people's doing around the world. I'm fascinated by that.
I think what you said is very important for anybody that's listening. Is everyone has an idea of what they think social media should be, or it is. And ultimately what it matters is your truth, what's true in your heart, what you care about. If you care about it from a chef's point of view, then celebrate that. And the more that you celebrate that, the more that you build a community of like-minded people that either respect chefs, that love chefs, that have chefs in their family. Like the restaurant will be what the restaurant is. But if that's the culture that you are, that communication, back to you taking over the social media initially, you wanted to communicate the voice of the restaurant, the voice of the brand, your voice. And in order to do that, you have to have the courage to post. And I think that that's the thing that we try to teach on this show. That's why we have storytellers and amazing chefs on like you, is that it's so important for people to know you don't need to ask for permission. You don't.
No, no, no.
We don't need to go make it. Instagram's already made. YouTube's already there. You just need to
post about yourself. Post the music that you like when you were a teenager. Post about, the flowers you're doing. Post about the things that you're passionate about. And I think, without filters, like, who cares?
Absolutely.
Everything's kind of created already. So it doesn't matter to create, not that it doesn't matter to create something new. I create something of quality, but sometimes inspiration comes from many places. So you don't have to, I don't think you have to be that strict for yourself about social media. And you can see when someone has fun.
When you look back on this interview 5 years from now, on Entrepreneur, and you go, I want to know, what do you plan on building, you and your husband, in the next 5 years? What's the big dream?
In the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years.
I think my dreams. So there's
big. I want big dreams. I want the biggest dream possible, so that you come back and you look and you go, oh my gosh, I dreamed too small.
Let's back to the stadium.
Yeah, back to the stadium. Now we're talking. That's why we start the show that way.
There's a tangible dreams that are coming and are happening while we're speaking, that were big dreams ago. We're opening a Mexican restaurant, hopefully in the next month.
What's it called?
It's called Pascual. Pascual is the patron of cooks in Mexico.
Amazing.
San Pascual. So we're opening in Capitol Hill. So that is a dream. So I really, first on that project, it's going to have a little side window. It's going to have a panaderia. So I'm going to be able to sell some conchas, like cochinito, rebanadas, all the beautiful pastries, aguas frescas, atoles,
amazing,
café de olla. I just think about it and I'm like, I want it. So I really I would like to make that restaurant something beautiful and unique. I think in the next 5 years, I would like that restaurant to become how old is Lutèce? I think almost 4 years, 3.5. Because we opened in pandemic, we don't know our.
Yeah, I know. Nobody knows what.
But I think Lutèce has become an entity. It's within its years. We've tried so much we work to create an identity that I think the restaurant has it, that it kind of speaks for itself, and people that join just know about it. There's like a line. So I would like Pascual also to create an identity with that restaurant, and where people that love Mexican food, or Mexicans that live in Washington, D.C. or the DMV area, to found a place to have fun and to eat delicious food. And I would like that restaurant to be in some recognitions, for sure. That always feels good. I just had one and I realized it feels really
amazing.
So I'm caring about that project a lot. And I would like to open a wine bar. I would like to have a taqueria. And I would like to open something back in Mexico City.
That would be cool.
I would like to be going more south.
Keep going south.
The South keeps calling. I'm very happy here in DC, but I think I don't know. It's a new idea. How easy it is to spend life between two countries.
It's amazing what you guys have built and what you're continuing to build. We're honored to have you on the show. The reason we created the show is to connect with amazing people all over the globe. No matter what you're building, we know that hospitality is in everybody. The food brings us all to the table. It's the thing that connects all of us as humans. No matter where you are, big city, small village, it's all the same.
The most humble way, I always say.
Most humble way.
The Absolutely. Most humble way to connect as humans.
And it's what turns strangers into friends. I mean, that's what true hospitality is how do you turn a stranger into a friend? And for us, anybody that's listening to this show, anybody that's watching this show, every week, twice a week, once on LinkedIn and once on Clubhouse, we do live shows. So it's a chance for you, the listener, to come up on stage and to share your story. It's important that you know that your voice matters. So please join us either on LinkedIn or on Clubhouse. You can connect with me at Sean P. Walchef on Instagram, and I will send you the link so that you can connect with the community. We have digital hospitality leaders from all over the globe, and we'd love to have you guys part of that. We also do a social shout out. Today's social shout out is going to Maria Escobar. She works at Cali Barbecue. She's been part of our familia, part of our barbecue family since we opened the restaurant. She's going through a tough time. She lost her grandson this week, but she's an amazing woman. She literally does everything, and she's always does it with a smile on her face. We love you, Maria. Thank you for everything that you do. There's so many people in the hospitality space that don't get a chance to be shouted out. But I wanted to give you, Isabella, a chance to give somebody an opportunity, somebody on your team. I know it's hard to pick one person, but you get to pick one person that typically doesn't get the recognition.
Doesn't get that. I think I would give it to our new chef de cuisine, Corey. He's super talented. He cares so much. He's been with us for like a little time, and he's been going through a rough month in his family and his personal life. And every day he shows up with the same desire to be the best for the team. And it's honestly admirable how hard he's working on it. So I'm giving a shout out to Corey today.
That's awesome. Thank you. And then real quickly, we're going to ask you, we believe in smartphone storytelling. That means that people that listen to this show, we know that you don't need to ask for permission to post content on the internet. I just want to learn a little bit about, do you have an iPhone or an Android?
I have an iPhone.
You have what version?
13.
13. Do you prefer text or emails?
Text.
Do you prefer text or phone calls?
Oh, text.
Text. Do you
text
have
or FaceTime calls? Like
or FaceTime
5 minute FaceTimes.
Okay.
I think they're the best way to catch it. Hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Bye.
Perfect. 5 minute FaceTime. Where do you listen to music? Spotify or Apple Music? Spotify. Do you listen to books or do you read books?
I read books.
What's your favorite book that you would recommend someone else read?
My favorite book right now. I'm reading Unreasonable Hospitality.
Yeah.
Incredible book. I'm like on my third time reading it, and I think now that I'm a manager, I keep finding support and inspiration on it. So I think everybody that is trying to grow into a manager position, or actually no, even if you're not trying to, like in any position you are in this industry, I think it's a good book to visit. What
is your favorite social media app?
Instagram. Millennial.
Do you prefer photos or videos? Photos. What is your least favorite app? Twitter. How many emails do you get a day?
Oh, a couple. How many do I read? One.
And for those, when they come to visit you in Washington, D.C., what do they need to order? What's the go-to?
I think you have to order our Pompey with golden Ocetra caviar. It's cooked in dog fat, potatoes cooked in dog fat with caviar. It's just luxury. And we actually it's a great dish. Our Napa cabbage is roasted Napa cabbage with like a tahini dressing. It's so good. And I think honeycomb semifreddo for dessert. Okay. It's kind of like a play on a cheese plate. It's a frozen honey from Virginia, delicious honey, semifreddo, shaved 18-month Comté cheese.
Sounds amazing.
It's really good.
Sounds so amazing. Well, thank you, Chef Isabell Coss. You can find her at Isabell Coss on Instagram. We're going to put links to the restaurants, to her, so you can connect with her. We are grateful for your time. Congratulations on the award. I'm sure there's many more awards for you and the team. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And
it's for the team.
That is. Thank you guys for listening. We're grateful. As always, stay curious, get involved. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And we will see you all next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Just a reminder, you, the listener, you, the viewer, are the most important person that consumes this content. The only way for us to grow this show is for you to share it with a fellow friend in the restaurant business. Help us grow the show by subscribing, and always reach out to me. I want to hear your story. I want to learn more about your restaurant, whether you're on Toast, whether you're looking to get on Toast. We appreciate you supporting this show, and we can't wait to see the content that you're creating and to learn about the impact that you are making in your communities. Stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help.